When you think about being happy, often you think about things you want. But the way spirituality works is actually kind of the opposite. It's not so much about what you want, but what you need. Like the Rolling Stones song, I guess. To get what you want out of life, you really have to get what you need. And to get what you need, you have to head towards what you don't want. Wait a second, that is totally confusing. The reason why is think of it like a teeter-totter when you're a kid. And in order to play, you have to have the balance. So if you're too far this way, you're stuck. Nothing happens. You can't go anywhere. You have to go more this direction in order to find the balance and the back and forth. The same is true for the south node and the north node. In your chart, you're going to find that the south node and north node are always 180 degrees apart. That means they're opposite signs. So it would be like a Pisces Virgo, it would be like a Taurus Scorpio. You get the picture. See, what we don't even realize, probably until we're at least in our 30s, hopefully, and not living in our parents' basement, is that we all have different realities that we live in. What we think is the only way is actually just one of many ways. But we don't realize it because we are stuck in our ways. One of my friends is a psychologist, and her most two hated words in the English vocabulary are comfort zone. That is exactly what a south node in your chart is. It's your comfort zone. When you're young, you don't even realize it. Maybe your parents and family even encourage you. They say, "Wow, you're so good at that. That's amazing. Congratulations." Not realizing that what you're actually good at is your own downfall. It is going to be this brick that is chained to your ankle that you're going to be dragging around with you. And until you just let it go, you're going to find that things just don't work out right. You might accomplish what you're after, but for some reason, it just never feels good. You never feel accomplished. And the reason why is because for multiple lifetimes, over and over and over, you've been doing the same thing. You have been living in a comfort zone. The more and more you stay in that comfort zone, the darker it gets. So, get out now. Get out as soon as you can. If you're 21 years old and watching this, congratulations, I wish I were you. But some people never realize it. And that's why you'll find that if there's a person that's happy, they have realized their north node and they're starting to head towards it. If there's a person who's miserable and they're 70 years old, it's because they're still stuck in their south node. Ew. So you know the astrology globe. It's a picture of a globe and that has this arrow through it. Well, that globe is called an astrolabe. The arrow is pointing towards the north node and the south node is the direction you want to go away from. Okay. It's also referred to as the dragon's head and dragon's tail. The dragon's head, of course, is where you want to head. The dragon's tail, not where you want to go. Does this mean you have to abandon all of these things you're good at? I mean, you work lifetimes to achieve all this stuff. Do you really just have to let go everything you've learned? No, of course not. But it's best if you use those things to mentor other people. Teach other people what you know and let them be the star of that show for this life. Because you have a whole different role to play. And life isn't about doing what you're good at. Life is about figuring out what you're not good at. The north node and south node are also referred to as karma and dharma. So here you have the north node. Hello. North node is dharma. And over here you have the south node, your past. This is karma. When people say karma is going to catch up to you, that's what we're talking about here. It's to say that everything that you've done in a past life is catching up to you now. Yeah, some is good. Yeah, some is bad. But everything that has been rehashed over and over and over too many times, it's becoming a broken record. That's your south node. All right, so now, like a magical page, I'm going to snap my fingers and we're going to go into your magical north node and south node. Here we go. Gemini north node, Sagittarius south node. Ahoy, matey. I'm feeling really weird today. Must be the full supermoon. Sagittarius south node, where pirates, travelers, adventurers, gurus, nomads, religious leaders, pretty cool past lives, if I do say so myself. Usually when you meet a Sagittarius south node, you'll feel like they're an old soul. They prefer to talk to older people, so as a teenager, they'll just be chilling out, acting like a 30-year-old with their parents. And it's easy to forget that they are just teenagers because they are such an old soul. They have a way of understanding the holistic approach and like what you're talking about and where you are in your life and what journey you're on. And it's like they have a whole roadmap to life goals, destinations. Is it a treasure map? Probably. So what are some downsides? Because this sounds awesome. It sounds like we're inside of Pirates of the Caribbean here, and I'm getting very excited. I actually know a Sagittarius South Node who, I kid you not, she gets up there on a big sailboat on the mast. I don't know what it's called, but she opens up and closes the sails and everything. It's astrology. It is what it is. Okay, so what's the downside? The downside is it can be very depressing to be born into a world where you already know what the F is going on with everybody. You already can see it all playing out. It's already been done before. Like, yeah, okay, you're gonna go on this journey, and then you're gonna figure this out, and then, yeah, you're self-indulgent, and then you're gonna have impulse control issues, and then you're gonna figure that out. Okay, come on, 20 years go by, and then you finally figure it out. And I'm sitting here, and I'm 12 years old, and I already know what's gonna happen to you. That's life as a Sagittarius South Node, feeling like you already have it all figured out. And where do you go from there? Seriously, where do you go from there? You guys don't have it all figured out. Shocking. You have the big picture figured out, but all of the little details in between, if you get really close on the map, it's just like little pixelated dots. There's nothing there. That's where Gemini North Node comes in. Gemini is all about all of those tiny little details, the little tiny community where you create roots and you are gonna be a part of that group and you're gonna socialize with those little people and you're going to create a society. And it's not just an idea or the broad strokes of what it could be or where you're headed and the years and a big timeline, but it's those little tiny moments, those little tiny conversations, and every little word in between. I think a Sagittarius South Node, actually, they usually do pretty well at transitioning to their North Node. They probably do it quicker than everybody else. That's why it's exalted. They kind of figure this out in their teens and early 20s, while the rest of us, some of us don't even figure it out until, well, the bitter end, because we hold on with little grudgy, curmudgeony fingers, because we're right. The rest of the world is wrong. A Sagittarius South Node is very wise. They're also extremely arrogant. They have a way of pushing people away because they think they know everything and nobody wants to be around a know-it-all. Opening yourself up to sit back and listen and find the beauty in all those little details. Put down the sailboat or frequent flyer miles. Relax at home on the rocking chair, on the porch, and talk to your neighbors. Get to know the local PTA. Get involved with your community and find out what's there. Stop running. There's a part of you that's always running away. You're afraid of that day-to-day life. Who are you without the adventure? What is Indiana Jones without the adventure? Can you be interested in life if it doesn't come with all of these journeys and adventures? It's so hard to stay in one place, but that's what home is. For you to really be yourself, you can't keep running. You can't keep absorbing yourself in other cultures and other ways of life and not settle into what you really are. To learn that every conversation doesn't have to be about philosophy or something heavy. It could just be about the weather or small talk, to just enjoy the simplicity of things. Having a dialogue, a conversation, instead of a lecture. I know this coming from a YouTube blogger. A lecture is one-sided. Maybe why you feel like you have learned it all is because you have stopped listening. And until you start listening and opening your mind up to the tiny details, those little moments, you're gonna miss the point. A Sagittarius South Node also can have a lot of street smarts, like wisdom, but not a lot of knowledge. Their wisdom has limitations because there's not actual factual evidence to back it up. That can also be part of your journey, is to take some wisdom, things you feel, and research and find the facts to back it up, or surprise yourself and change your mind and open up your ideas and belief systems based on what you research and what you find. A Sagittarius South Node, because they're so broad-stroked, they also tend to sit up and pontificate in the clouds without actually getting down into the nitty-gritty. They're the jack of all trades, but they don't actually know how to really do anything really well. You have to put your mind to it and you have to take it step by step. You can't be truly great at anything unless you invest the time and energy. A lot of South Node Sagittariuses, because they're so advanced in wisdom, at a young age, they can feel really out of place, at the same time extremely lonely. They have trouble getting into the day-to-day school system and the way it works. They can also have a lot of social anxiety because when you just talk and it's one way, you're not trying to relate to others, and so why would they try to relate to you? You have so much to offer, but until you come off your high horse and have a conversation, give respect in order to get respect, that's when you can really help others and you can share your wisdom with them, and then they can share their knowledge with you. Find the beauty of those differences. So don't skip any steps. I know it's boring and it's tedious. The more you delve into it, the more you'll realize that every step is a world within a world within a world. And you can travel if you just change your scale of perspective. It's the adventure of the small town. All right, I hope that helps. We'll see you guys next time. Subscribe.